Hello, attraction marketing community. This is Ferny Ceballos. What's happening? Welcome to this special live interview with the one and only Michelle Churchill Dworak. Did I say that right?
Correct.
Dworak?
Yes.
Oh my God, I got it right. Man, that's awesome. I should have checked with you before, but I got it right. So I'm excited. We're live on our business page on Facebook and on YouTube. So type me number one in the chat if you guys can hear me and see me. Just want to make sure everything is working. I'm actually gonna check myself. Oh, there we go. I hear myself. So things must be working. All right. Well, let's hop right into it. Let's not wait any longer. Like Michelle, you're a rock star in the network marketing space. You were introduced to me by our mutual friend, John Milton. And so I know you have a history with John, and we'll get into that in just a moment. I'd, Michelle's a multiple six-figure earner in the network marketing space. She's crushing it on social media. We're going to talk about how she's crushing on social media. More importantly, how she produces the amount of personal volume that she does over 90K per month. I'm saying personal. That's just monstrous volume. And normally it's like, I mean, you think that person would just be working 24/7 trying to keep up with all those customers, but she's done an amazing job of setting up community and systems to support all of those people. And we're going to talk about that. She's also a speaker and trainer at the next week's Digital Networker Live. So she's going to dive deeper into some of these subjects, but we're going to get started here on this live so that she can spill the beans as much as possible with the time we have. And then it'll be to be continued at our live event. So Michelle, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Awesome. I'm awesome. I'm awesome that you're here. I'm so glad that you invested the time here with our community. Most of our community members do not know who you are. So I would love it if you just shared a little bit about your background, especially as to how you got into network marketing and how it is that the beginning journey of network marketing evolved into you being as successful as you are today in network marketing.
All right. Again, thank you for having me. So my name is Michelle Churchill Dworak. For those of you who do not know me, and it's such an honor to have you on. I'm really excited for today. So I actually was the person for 5 years who was a hard no to the industry. I mean, I used to sit around with my family, and my perception of what network marketing is was that they were housewives who were married to very wealthy men who maybe made $100 a month, like literally. So I was a hard no. I wouldn't even be open to taking a look. I thought it was a big old pyramid scheme, skeptical like most of us. And again, like some people think it's a pyramid scheme and they actually take a peek and still say no. Like I wouldn't even take a peek. I just had spun up in my mind what I had thought that it was. And fast forward to an area in my life, I'm in therapy and I have my therapist and my entire family basically tell me, you're in an abusive marriage with this 2-year-old beautiful daughter and you need to get out. So I was already $60,000 in debt from student loans. I was already living paycheck to paycheck. My background was actually in human resources. So
Mhm.
I would go to work full time, working a 9 to 5, except for mine was 8:30 to 5:30. Not really sure how that was specified as a 9 to 5. And when I'd walk in the door, there would be my 2-year-old daughter. I was single at the time, and I would rush off to, cook her dinner, to give her a bath, read her a book, and then I would go into the basement after I got her off into bed. Her bedtime was like 7 o'clock p.m. to do hair. And I would do hair in my basement. I have my cosmetology license. I got it straight out of high school. I went high school, and then evenings I went to night school for hair school. So when I graduated from high school, 6 months after, I actually graduated the cosmetology license as well from the state of Michigan. So I did that. I'd get in bed, look at the clock. It'd be like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't know how I did it. I'd go back to, I'd sleep, wake up, and do that Monday through Friday. And on the weekends, I'd clean houses. And I got to a point where I was starting to miss milestones with Isabella, and I started to
Mm.
actually resent my career. Like, I'm talking Sunday scaries, can't sleep, Monday blues. And I was put on as the HR specialist on a Monday when I was already having the Monday blues about the weekend being over. And I had to eliminate a group of employees that had been within the company for over 10 years. And while I was doing it, I was okay. But it was that day that I was driving home where a light bulb went off. Like, this is my life. I spend maybe 90 minutes to maybe 2 hours a day with my child. I'm rushed to everything. I have nothing to look forward to. And what if I was still here in 10 years and that was me being escorted out the door? Like, is this really what I want to do for the rest of my life? And that night when I went home, I had the typical routine with Bella, but as she was always such a good baby going to bed, this night she was different. She started screaming and crying about how mama no hair, mama no basement, begging me not to go in the basement to do hair. All mama does is work. And she cried herself to sleep. And I went in the basement to do hair where I needed the money to pay my bills. And that night I cried myself to sleep. And I'll never forget,
Mm.
I had pants on, but when I woke up in the morning, I acted like I was pulling up my big girl pants. And I was like, I'm going to find a solution. And someone had posted something on social media that kind of sparked the light bulb of how I could earn an additional stream of income online. So I reached out to the gal who had approached me 5 years prior, and she had quit the industry. So I'm
Mm.
like, okay, I'll just get in with someone in the industry in a health and wellness company who's high up there, who's kind of famous. So I ended up just jumping in with the health and wellness company, not knowing how to do anything, but I YouTubed everything. I would go to YouTube, I'd be in the shower listening to trainings. I would just YouTube how to be successful in network marketing, how to invite in network marketing. That's how I taught myself because my upline was not involved in the business. And I was reading personal development books. And I come across a book, Six Figures to Success by Rob Sperry, which I highly recommend you read.
Mhm.
And that's when I was introduced to John Melton. And I had really big goals and a really big vision, but I didn't when I first got it started. I was happy with making an additional $500 per month. But after building a relationship with him, I ended up realizing that I no longer agreed with some of the company standards, and I realized I could help a lot more people in social retail than I could having to like always just continuously build a team. And where I'm at, it's dual. So you got customers and you got that, and I like both. But a lot
Mhm.
of people don't like both, and I saw that. So I ended up walking away from a substantial income in a health and wellness company. I was making my third year 89,000, which is pretty good in the network marketing space,
Right.
and I started from zero. But it was one of the best decisions that I've ever made because it's introduced me to people like John Melton. It's introduced me to people like Ferny and Ray Higdon and people in the network marketing space. And it's just been the best decision ever. So here I am 6 years later. I'm not only excited that, I haven't given up through all the hard times and through the caution tape that tried to hold me back because there's a lot to learn and there is some skills that we have to learn. But I always remind myself that this is a personal growth journey with an income plan attached to it and just to keep going and keep showing up and keep taking action. And what excites me the most is not only did it change my life and my daughter's life, but I'm excited to say that I've changed more lives than I can count on all of my fingers and all of my toes. Be able to say yes to something they at one time financially couldn't say yes to. And that
Yeah.
feels really good.
Awesome. If you love Michelle's story, give her a number 10 in the chat because that was a 10 out of 10. That's an amazing story. By the way, just comment if anyone can relate with any aspect of Michelle's story. I think this parallels a lot of the reasons so many of us get involved in network marketing. It's like we're, not really doing it for ourselves. There's a bigger, grander motivation. You were doing it for your daughter to be able to spend time with her, and of course, there's benefits that we enjoy, and things that we can do, but there's usually that breaking point, that one moment in time where you're just like, man, enough is enough. Something's got to change. And Also, I mean, that took a lot of courage. Can you just tell me a little bit about like walking away from like an 89, like almost a $90,000 income, annual from your old company and new company? And were you using social media to build in that old company, or what methods were you using, and how did what was that decision like to like walk away and make make what I see as like a business decision. You're like, this is what's best for me, my family, etc. But that's often frowned upon. Even just talking about leaving a company, going to another company, and that, oh, you're disloyal to your upline, you're disloyal to company. There's all these emotions and judgments that are wrapped around it. Can you tell us a little bit about that decision and how did you kind of handle that transition?
So I didn't know much about the industry being a newbie. So all I knew was the company that I was in. So I
Mm,
didn't know there were different comp plans. I didn't know there were different things that companies offered and different products and different systems. I didn't know any better. And when I was reading books and being introduced to other mentors and leaders out there, I started to realize, okay, like there are different things, there are different ways you can win. I mean, every company is different and they have something different to offer. And so when I started building a relationship with John, I started to ask questions and take numbers and compare them to other numbers and
mm,
realize how hard it really was doing what it is that I was doing, because I really was to the point where I felt like I was in a hamster wheel. In the health and wellness company that I was a part of, you were only paid basically when you recruited. So I was like doing this, and it was hard to look people in the eyes and be like, hey, come do what it is that I am doing, because they just fall off. They were just falling off. Some stay, some don't. Who cares? Keep going. But it was this vicious cycle. And I really saw a big vision of this industry. And I really wanted to teach people that you can scream about something from the rooftop and you can still earn a really good paycheck while doing it. So I had that in the back of my mind, and it got to the point where I actually started to feel gross talking about it. So that was my number one, like in my
mm,
gut, okay, something needs to change. Number two, the follow up approach that obviously my mentor, my business partner had with me was something that I never saw in my entire life, which I think leadership is very important. So when I realized that this specific company that I did end up joining now had the leadership, had the hero products that I could stand behind as a fitness instructor, free and clear of synthetic ingredients, artificial sweeteners, and backed up by science. And then, third of all, the systems that we didn't have. I was like also trying to be like, how can I implement this system? And every time I tried to implement it in my previous company, it just like all crumbled to the ground and no one was really in it with me and had that vision. So I'm like, I already have to build something from the ground up, this system. Why wouldn't I just go do it somewhere else where every box is checked and I feel more comfortable doing it?
mm.
So I ended up just taking the leap of blind faith, doing it, sat down with my family and hustled my brain off and never looked back. And again, I thought about other people. I thought about the value that this could bring to the average person being able to do what it is that I was doing. The average person couldn't do what it was that I was doing in my previous health and wellness company.
Got it. And so, when we're talking about $90,000 a month in personal volume, you said that's important to you, like doing retail. And I mean, when I think about that, I think of, well, the pros of doing that is, while you control your income, a big chunk of your income, you control it because you're producing it. You're not depending on anyone else to produce volume. You're producing the volume first and foremost. So, but then also, I could imagine people are like, I don't know how I would handle that many customers and that much volume and supporting all those people. And so, on a high level, how do you, you know, was, well, one, was that the intention? Is like, I want to be responsible for more of my income and production. Was that an intentional choice, or did it just happen? How did that, turn out that way?
So when Black Friday hit and I had my like first $50,000 month and earned 36% of that commission on that, I was like, whoa, this is great. This takes off pressure of having to build a team, and it organically, it's kind of like when you have pressure you don't produce as well, but when you don't have that pressure on, knowing that I can earn a six-figure income, even a multiple six-figure income, just helping people get started on products gives me a lot of relief, because
Mhm.
you really truly can't count on anyone and you never know when something's ever going to happen. So that was the first thing, was that I saw that and I was like, okay. And I tie them in together. So as I'm talking about one thing, the products, I'm always talking about the income part of it as well. So when
Uh-huh.
they go to purchase and I ask them if they want to come do this with me, usually they already have a feel that I'm basically in affiliate marketing with, affiliate affiliate marketing on steroids. They kind of know, they kind of feel like they know, like me, and trust me. So it's not just thrown out of the middle of the South Field. And they also see me and consistently know my customers can ask me anything because I'm live every single day. So when you give that support to them and you actually get them results on what it is that they are using, they actually stay around. So each month you start at zero, but some of those are reoccurring. So you can build that as well. And it can be just as important as nurturing a team as it is to nurture customers. Because even in my previous company, and even today, being in the social retail that I've been with in 2 years, I still have customers that signed up day one who are still with me today. And that could be, you know what I mean? The same with a customer pod. So
Mhm.
how do I manage it? So I have a lot of virtual assistants. I'm not going to lie. You know what I mean? Like I have some virtual assistants in the Philippines that I have, taught how to, I've automated a lot through Project Broadcast. I also created a group where every day I show up in, like I'm showing up with my water intake. I'm showing up. So like when they see my water intake and can ask questions, now they're learning how much water they should drink. Now they're learning how much protein they should drink. So they're getting results and they're feeling the best they've ever felt. And one thing, even people in the network marketing space love community. And I feel like a lot of customers don't have community, and that's something that I give them.
Mhm.
So I'm constantly finding that customers of mine are like on my stories when I'm on my stories doing my power hour. And when they are, I treat them as if they're not even a customer yet. And I'm just always loving on them. How are you doing? It's a Friday. What do your typical Fridays look like? So they always feel like I'm nurturing them and planting seeds to the point where once that root grows into a tree, they'll basically forever be with you. So that's how I do that. But like the Facebook group, actually me checking in every day is really beneficial. And then what I've learned through like 100 grams of protein, I teach them that. So I
Okay.
physically like teach them every day on live. So it's really hard for them to not A, be able to get a hold of me. You know what I mean? B, implement what it is that I am doing. And then C, I have Project Broadcast. So the second they sign up, I already have a full funnel of what they need. A week later, how is it going? 2 weeks later, what positive changes are you seeing? So I can invite them to come do what it is that I am doing. And then every month they get a touch through a text
Mhm.
message, which I find people really like. So I'm keeping them around the fire, just as we do with our teams,
Mhm.
which I don't think a lot of people realize. I think sometimes it's just, I got the sale. Now I move on and find another sale.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you're building community. I mean, what you're doing is you're giving value beyond what they purchased. So it's not, oh, thanks for being a customer. Good luck with the product. Hopefully, it works out for you. Like, there's ongoing value in addition to their purchase that they're looking forward to. They're a part of something. They get to hear you and see you. I mean, because you're the person that introduced them to whatever a health product of some kind that's leading to some sort of transformation and change in their life, they inherently trust you more. So if you're showing up, they're going to listen. I remember when I first got introduced to attraction marketing, my mentor Mike Dillard. Back then the way you communicate with your customers and your audience was email, and I looked forward to those emails. So I looked forward to every time I looked at my inbox every day and I looked for his name because I knew whatever he was going to share was going to be insightful, educational, help me grow in some way. And I think that's what's happening in your community. Those people are looking forward to your lives that you do. They're looking forward to those text messages because they want to be a part of something and they want to feel supported, but they want to grow and they want to learn and they know that they can get that from you. And that's a huge benefit from being a customer, being a loyal customer of yours.
Yes. It's very
Yeah.
important to me. Very high priority of mine.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, um, so let me ask you this, like, let's look into the future a little bit. I know you're going to be teaching on everything you just described and much more in depth at Digital Networker Live, because I'm curious about the systems and what you've set up to support that many customers. But what does the future look like for you? Like, where are you headed? Like, what are your goals in the network marketing space? Because I mean, you're just getting started. You've been basically with your company for what, a couple of years?
Yeah, I've been
Is
all
that about?
together in the space of network marketing 6 years, with this company 2 years, my previous company 4 years.
Yeah, so you're still a baby in this space and you're crushing it. And so what's your vision for the future? I'm just curious.
Entertain, empower, and educate. That, like, if you put your mind to doing something and you actually take out the learning and start applying and implementing, the faster you fail. Like, that's just something that I'm really good at
Mm,
doing. I just realized, like, that stomach, that part in your gut where you're like, I don't want to go live, I don't know how to go live, I don't know what to say. That is like growing pain. That's like when you go to the gym and you're sore, and you have to push through that, because there's always going to be the side of the left brain that's going to try to hold you back. But people like you and people like John and people like who have been so successful, it's not just one person, have proved that we can do it too. So I've just never stopped. A lot of people start, stop, start, stop, start, slow down. I just don't slow down, and I get tested a lot. And I still continuously just say, okay, I know what I need to do. I need to check the boxes off of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, because it's like a puzzle. In network marketing, you can't just do one part of your puzzle. You
mm,
have to do every single part of your puzzle. And what's important too, even with systems, and even having with a virtual assistant, you know what I mean? I still nurture people, because you can't just systematic everything either. You know what I mean? You still have to be present. You still have to realize you're the CEO of a company. And honestly, what would I do with my day? I already get to go to the gym and spend a couple hours all by myself and do whatever I want to do, and go for walks with my dogs, and I have flexibility. And, so I don't need to just be sitting at home and not putting 4 or 5 hours into my business. So if you can't do this part time, like, and be successful, you have no use trying to do it full time. And that was something that I
mm,
learned and figured out. So I'm very systematic with my days. Like, I'm telling you, I set timers like 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. So I have a very big vision for my future of speaking on as many stages as I can, having a extremely large organization. I mean, I recruited just a couple months ago 30 people in 1 month. So, I mean, just helping people and realizing and showing them the way. I really do like leading people, especially if they're positive and they're coachable and they're willing to grow. I'm like all in with them. And I'm the kind of person where I don't like being told, like, just go do this for 5 minutes. Like, I want you to show me examples. And that's what
mm,
I do. And I talk out loud. So, like, if you can't do it through me trying to show you, then you just probably can't do it at all. And then the personal development aspect, I really hate people who talk negative. Like, I just don't know how to follow up. Like, those words never came out of my mouth. I
right.
realized how damaging they are. Like, really, what you say, what you think, and what you write is what you bring more of. And I used to be a really negative person. I used to have no faith in myself. I used to call myself names. And now I just constantly, before I'm there, I'm constantly envisioning where I want to be before I'm actually there. So I've got really big goals and really big dreams. So I want to be a legend. I know
Mhm.
I'm a legend in the making of the network marketing community, but I want to be a legend in this space.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, what you said about you said two things that I think for me resonate are very important. I don't know if they resonate with you, with everybody that's watching here. One was the way you talk to yourself, that you used to say things about yourself that were honestly self-sabotaging. Like when you speak negatively about yourself, I'm stupid, I'm not this, I'm not that. Like you're not you're saying you don't deserve even what you have is essentially it. And that you do have to speak to yourself in an affirming way. And sometimes it's habitual, sometimes it's so ingrained in our mind that we have this dark vision of ourselves. But the first thing, if you want to change that, the first thing you do is, well, you can't control your thoughts, but you can interrupt and control what you say, what you do, what you write, like you said. So that really resonates with me. I don't even know how profound you, I don't know how profound people think that is, but for me, it's profound.
It's
Like,
huge.
because you can control what you say. Like, if you have dark thoughts or negative thoughts or any of that stuff, well, that will go away when what you say out loud and what you do externally, when those behaviors change, then eventually that will reprogram you from the outside in. A lot of people in personal development think that you change your mindset from the inside out. No, you change it from the outside in. And what you were talking about in terms of what you say to yourself, what you do, what you write, all that is important. So start behaving like the 6 or 7 figure earner you wish to become. And you start making decisions. What would 6 figure or 7 figure me do in this situation? Not what should I do now? What should I do now? I don't want to lose this, or I'm afraid of this. I mean, that conversation doesn't serve you. And the other part, which has to do with this, is your willingness to fail forward, to like move quickly, make mistakes, and learn from them, and continue on. Just so many people are just like they're so afraid of failing. They're so afraid of getting it wrong, and they want to get it right the first time, and so they think about it and they overthink it, and they whatever it is they're gonna do, they're like planning, and they think that's productive, but it's like not. And so, what tips do you have for people as it relates to how to overcome that? I guess maybe it's analysis paralysis, but I think that's it's not even that. It's just they're just afraid to move forward and make those mistakes. So, what advice do you have if people are watching and are in
Well,
that
what
place?
what you have to realize is I self-sabotaged myself for many years. And I don't know what happened from like 18 to 25, but I somehow got into this like binging thing. I used to tell myself that I could eat healthy all day, but then I'd binge in the evening, and I'll never forget I got a therapist. My therapist is like, "Well, look in the mirror and tell yourself." And I'm like, "How stupid." And then I got into this industry and like personal development and what you say and all that matters. So you have to realize that you can't just pick up a book and start doing this and like see results in a week. Every negative thought that you've had that probably came from your childhood has to be replaced with a positive, which actually reconditions. So I have times where my mind starts racing and I'm like, oh my gosh, when I go on stage, this, and I'm like, I'm so happy and I'm so grateful that I crushed it. Like I closed my eyes. Like there are
Mhm,
things that you can do. They're always going to come up. So that's one thing. And number two is, again, being consistent. Like when I get up in the morning and you follow me on my stories, like I am writing my I am statements, reverse engineering. That's what people don't realize, is that you have to literally believe that you can do what it is that you are going to do in the future before it even happens.
mhm,
And when you prepare your mind and talk like that and write things down and see a vision board, your mind looks for small little things during the day that are going to help reach you to get there. So I just borrowed my belief in all these people who are out there, like Jim Rohn and all these. And I'm like, okay, this is really a big thing. And every leader you see that has succeeded, they do it. So my
mhm,
tip is every day, I mean, personal development is an absolute must. Reading books like Go for No, reading books like The Slight Edge, reading books like The Power of, One More, reading books like 10X Rule, Eat the Frog. Like those books are so inspiring. I've read over 80 books. I mean, literally. So number one is to make sure 10 minutes a day. And if you don't have time, Audible. I replaced all of, because I was so self-sabotaging, I had no belief in myself. I replaced all my time in the car with a sticky note on my radio to remind me to do audibles, to listen to stuff like that,
mhm,
just have it going through my mind. In the shower, while I'm cooking, anytime I could invest in pouring into myself, even now, I do. Some days I feel down and I don't want to show up for my business, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do that. And I teach fitness. And when I find people come into my class, I say to them, the class is called Extreme. My number one rule is, if you're in my workout, you are not allowed to go to that door until the class is over. So if you need somewhere to go early, you need to tell me right now, because people walk out because it's too hard. I'm
mm,
never going to sit on the stage and tell you that you're stupid or you're on your knees. There's modifications. And how do you get better at doing something? By doing it. I remember literally having a call with Eric Worre and he gave me an assignment. I'm like, I don't know what to say to people. Hey, he's like, hey, how are you doing? Just go back and forth. So I did it with 100 people. He told me to do it with 100 people 3 days in a row. So 300 people. And that was a pivot point in my business because it taught me how to have conversations. Figure it out. So whatever it is that you're not good at, there was a time where I wasn't good at adding friends from a suggested friends list. There was a time when I wasn't good at overcoming objections, where I was like pounding my head against the floor. But all the times that you just go out there and do the things that you're supposed to be doing, it's all learning. And that's how you get better at doing it. So I always like to tell people to look at it as you being in school like you're a student. Like you literally, if you want to be in this 6, 7, 8 figure earners like you do, Fernie, you have to look at this as an MBA, a massive bank account. People go and invest tons of money, and you have support from people who have already doing it, that have already done it. You have to do what it is that they're saying. And that's something that I don't just fire it out of my mouth and say that I'm doing something that I don't do. It's on my stories. You can see that I'm like, I don't want to do personal development today, but I'm doing it. So my biggest tip of advice is to be consistent and say you're going to do something, but actually do it, because when you do, you build confidence in yourself. When I say, okay, I'm going to work out 4 days next week, when the days come and it's Thursday and I'm only at, 1 day and I got to work out now Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, if I show up and actually stick to my word, that actually builds confidence. So that's how you build your confidence in the network marketing space, is by actually saying, hey, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this, and this every day, even if it's 5 minutes each one, because you got to learn all of them. And I'm going to do that 4 days a week. And then when the time comes, if you start to feel bad about yourself or think this or this isn't for me, you keep going. And that's normal for you to feel that way about yourself.
Mhm.
But you have to stop. And you have to start saying, I'm so happy and I'm so grateful that I'm amazing at following up. I'm so happy, on repeat. I mean, if people knew the kind of self talk that I say to myself, because I'm a very anxious, high strung person. So I understand the negative self talk. I
Right.
really do. So those are my tips, and hopefully those were meaningful.
Absolutely. I'd suggest everybody grab that part of what she just said and get it on loop on some sort of audio and just listen to it. I mean, there's so much gold that I can identify in terms of how what you say, but it's like the language of commitment. I am this, or I'm going to do this, or every day I'm going to be doing this. That's the language of commitment. That's the language of it's inevitable that it's going to happen, as opposed to I hope I can do this. I want to do this. Like the crazy thing is like the words I want to do this actually don't serve you. It's I'm gonna do this. It's gonna happen. It's happening. I am this. And so there's so much gold there. Maybe we do another live all on personal development at some point, because there's it's so much more important than even the tactical stuff. But Michelle, you're going to be speaking and training at Digital Networker Live next week. We are live streaming the event, and also people can still get in-person tickets for the event. We're going to have approximately 125 people in person, hundreds of people tuning in through live stream. You're going to be teaching on your customer support system. So somebody asked in the chat, how is it that you can support that many customers? Well, we're going to talk about that. Michelle's actually going to share her systems for how it is she one acquires that many customers from social media, from home, not doing home parties or home meetings. You don't do home parties and home meetings, right?
Nope. No three-way chat, no three-way Zoom, no Zooms, none of that.
Yeah. So how she does that, and two, how does she support that many people? And somebody asked a question, and I'll ask Michelle to actually teach on that. Is how do you approach converting customers into team members? I think that's an important conversation, because, I mean, essentially, Michelle, what you've done is you've built a massive warm market of customers who love the product, love the company, they love you. So it's like it's so much easier to introduce them to the opportunity, and they're not going to go, "Oh, okay, well, that's weird. I don't want to be involved in one of those things." No, because their perception of you and your wisdom has completely changed. And now they trust you. So anything you point at, even if you tell them, "Hey, you should vote for this person," that would actually even influence them, because there's so much trust and goodwill there. And so that's a big key when we're building customer bases. We're actually building a very powerful warm market that we have influence, probably more so than we do with our own family members, to be quite honest. And so I look forward to learning from you, Michelle, at Digital Networker Live. You're speaking there with about 20 other, badass top earners, multiple 6, 7 figure earners. We even have somebody there who's was a student of my mentors well over 15 years ago, and now he has his own network marketing company, and he's crossed the $1 billion sales mark in his own company that's going to be training and speaking there. And so it's just the stage is going to be full of incredible people. In the crowd, we're going to have multiple 7 figure earners in the crowd. One guy I know who's going there as a student has earned over $50 million over the past 20 years in network marketing. And so the networking opportunity in person is going to be awesome. The education on stage is going to be amazing. However, you can attend, make it happen. Tractionmarketing.com/DNL. We're also having an in-person a pre-event workshop that's about a day and a half before the main event that you can add on. That's really geeky stuff on how you can basically use AI to automate your prospecting on social media, automate conversations. We're going to both teach you the manual way of doing things, but then also how to have AI support you on that stuff as well. Please check that out. Please give some love to Michelle in the chat. Drop the hearts, the emojis. And here's the other thing I would love for you to do. I want you guys to say something that is affirming, that affirms your commitment to your future. So an I am statement of some kind. I am going to do this. I am going to do that. Fill in the blank. Give that to Michelle. Let her know that you're learning and that you've taken that away right now. Do it. And then most importantly, do it for yourself. You're not just doing it for Michelle or to look good. You're doing it for yourself because this is how change happens. You have to program yourself from the outside in, not the inside out. You can't go inside your brain. It has to come from the outside. So please give her some love. Please give us one of your affirmations as to what you will be doing, what you will be accomplishing over the next week, over the next month, over the next year. Let her know that you have taken something valuable away from this conversation. So, Michelle, thank you so much for being on here. I look forward to personally meeting you for the first time in Los Angeles for the event. It gets started on Thursday with the workshop, on Friday with the main event with all our incredible speakers and trainers. Check out the link there in the chat. You'll see everyone who'll be training and speaking. It's just going to be a buffet of knowledge. My goal is to have everyone's brain exploding by the end of it. It's not going to be a rah-rah event. It's not going to be a motivational thing. It's 100% content that is just going to rock your world. So thank you, Michelle. Any last words before we log off?
No, just that leaders are made at events. And when I was at an event where I just wanted to make like $500 a month, and I actually caught a vision looking at all the people in the room, like there's no difference between me and that person. And you've never heard a person. See, I like clarity. I like knowing clarity. It's powerful, like knowing someone like John Melton or Ferny. No one said it's easy. Like I never said like it is hard. There are moments where you're like, I don't feel like I know what I'm doing. You feel like you're, but it's you, that's part of it. So if you know that every day you go into a job and you have to punch 1,000 numbers into a machine every day, you know you have to do that. If you know in this industry you're going to be ignored, you're going to be told no, you're going to be, then you should just deal with it and know that it's not you. And remember that that's self-sabotaging. So again, you are so happy and you are so grateful now that is the verbiage it has to be. If you want to be 150 pounds, I am so grateful and I am so happy and I'm so grateful now that I am 150 pounds before you're there. So, what is the rank you want to be? Get out there and push and make sure if you can't come personally, that you do come to the virtual one because you are going to learn. And that is when you have light bulb moments. There is not a training that I attend where a light bulb doesn't go off. Like, I can't believe I've been in the industry for 6 years, even when it was my first year, and I didn't know X, Y, and Z. And it just all of a sudden comes off. So you have to be around these type of people. You are who you hang out with. Invest the time. Come have fun with me and Ferny. We are going to have an absolute riot. We're going to have desserts and we're going to have tequila and it's going to be great. Ferny, thanks for having me on. I can't wait, but I'm real. And you guys, I'm so scared. I can't even sleep at night about getting on that stage. Okay. So guess what though? I can do hard things and I'm so happy and I'm so grateful that I absolutely crushed it and I empowered so many people in the room around me to take massive action. That's what I'm telling myself between now and next Thursday, like 1 million times. I can bet you anything.
Yeah, awesome.
Do it afraid.
Yes, absolutely. Do it afraid, and you'll stop being afraid. That's bottom line. So that's the way you get over fear. So thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you for being willing to share your time here and share your time in person in Los Angeles next week. Again, the workshop, the pre-event workshop, which is optional, starts on Thursday. The main event starts in the middle of Friday, and that'll go on for 2.5 days into Sunday. It's just going to be a massive learning experience. No event like it in the world, I guarantee you, because I make a commitment to putting on the best possible events, no matter how many people are in the room, and that people walk away with all the information that they might need. You're going to resonate with different speakers, different trainers, different personalities, different strategies that'll be taught. It's all about building online. It's all about building your network marketing business digitally. There will be no prospecting taught. There will be no old school stuff taught. You're not going to be taught to take out your phone and download your list of names on your phone. That's not what we do. Our strategies are far more leveraged, and I guarantee you what Michelle's going to teach you is highly leveraged. So take care, everybody. Have an amazing day, and we will talk soon.
Bye.